Yes, guys, welcome to our today's class. Today we are going to move forward. Remember, guys, we were talking about ETHERCHANNEL or port aggregation, right? ETHERCHANNEL or port aggregation. And remember what I told you when we are talking about ETHERCHANNEL. What does it mean? It means we are combining physical port from the switch in order to create one logical port. That logical port, we call it also a virtual port, right? So you got many physical ones. You are going to combine those physical ones in order to create one logical one. And the logical, we call it also a virtual one. So the virtual port will be called a port channel, right? So, and I gave to you some benefit, and today we are going to move forward. We are going to talk about some restrictions when you are creating your logical port, right? So I will try to share my screen. So ETHERCHANNEL. Restrictions. My computer is a bit slow. I don't know why. So we are going to talk about some restrictions, right? Number one, don't mix port. Don't mix like interface types, right? Don't do that. What does it mean? It means this. So if you are using from the first switch, you are using fast Ethernet port. When you go to switch number 2, you have to use also fast Ethernet, right? So switch 1. So if you are using fast Ethernet port, switch 2 also must have what? Fast Ethernet port. So this is the meaning. So when you wanna create your logical link, your logical port, when you combine your physical port, when you wanna combine your physical port from the switch number 1, make sure that all your port that you are going to combine will be using fast Ethernet. And when you go to port number 2 or switch number 2, all your port also must use fast Ethernet. Or, so if you are using maybe the gigabit, right? So switch number 2 also must have the gigabits, right? So this is the meaning. So if I have 2 switches, when I'm combining my physical port from switch number 1, so suppose like I'm using just the gigabit port. So when I will go to switch number 2, so I have also to use only the gigabits, not mixing, right? So if you mix, your ETHERCHANNEL will never be formed. You cannot create your logical link. It will never work. So fast Ethernet, like this side, fast Ethernet, this other side. Gigabit, like this side, gigabit, this other side, right? And you have to remember that all your port within your EtherChannel link must be configured as access port. All port within EtherChannel must be configured as a access port. So what does it mean? If you have like 5 ports, your physical port from the switch, you're gonna create your logical link, right? Those 5 ports must be access port. Let me plug first my laptop. It seems like a bit low. Yeah. So you got your switch, you want to combine some physical port in order for you to create a logical one. Remember that all your physical port that you want to combine must be configured as what? Access port, right? And you have to remember again, when you are using a 2960 switches, right? You can only, this type of devices can only support 6 ether channels. Support only 6 right? So those are some of the restrictions that you have to understand. So restriction number 1, don't mix the interface types. So switch 1 fast Ethernet, switch 2 fast Ethernet. Or maybe if you're using from the switch 1 gigabit Ethernet, from switch 2 gigabit Ethernet. Number 2, all your ports that you are going to be using for you to create your ether channel, right? Those ports must be access port. And number 3, when you are using the 2960 switches, that you can only create 6 different ether channels, right? Like channel group 1, like channel group 2, and so on, right? Now, we spoke about different ways of creating your virtual link, right? Different ways of creating your virtual link. The virtual link or port aggregation or what? Ether channel, right? I'm gonna I like the uppercase and again, right? Remember that I told you that there are different ways. There are different ways you can create your virtual link or port aggregation or ether channel. You can do it statistically or manually, right? Or you can do it dynamically or what we call auto negotiation. Yeah. So those are the 2 ways, right? So you can do it manually or you can do it dynamically or auto negotiation. So dynamically, we call it also auto negotiation. When you go for manually, remember that both interfaces must be using the command below, right? So maybe, let's say, switch one, you're gonna be in configuration mode, right? So what you're gonna say maybe, so interface range, right? And from here, which command you are going to type? So channel group, you're gonna give it a number, right? You give it a number, maybe, right? So channel group, mode, you're gonna say, this mode will never change. The only things, right? Yeah, so you're gonna say the channel group, number, mode, right? So we spoke about it. So you must go like in both switches, do the same thing, right? Suppose like you have switch number 2, you can do also the same things there, but the range can change, right? Now, dynamically or auto negotiation means what? You are going to use some computer programs that we call the protocols. So 2 protocols will be used. So when you decide to go for dynamic, we do have 2 protocols that you can go for, or 2 computer programs that can allow you to create those links dynamically without your effort, right? So what does it mean? You have 2 switches here, right? Those 2 switches will negotiate, right? Let me show you how it will happen. So there's a switch here. So switch 1, and there is switch 2, right? Now you got your links are here. Right? So for this auto negotiation, so what does it mean? This one will request, and this one too will do what? Will reply. Or maybe this one will ask, and this one will reply, right? I remember, so what I've said for this one means this. You got the first switch, and here the second switch, right? So in order for you to combine those 2 physical links, there you must put it on. It must be on. So, and here also the mode must be on. Right? Okay, let's go back to those 2 protocols, right? There are 2 ways your switches can negotiate by themselves, right? There are 2 computer programs or 2 protocols. When you wanna go for dynamic, right? There's what we call a Pag or PagP, and what we call LagP, right? This is so if you wanna go for dynamic or auto negotiations, means that switches are going to negotiate by themselves, right? So switches by themselves are going to negotiate in order to create that virtual link or that ether channel, right? Now, this PagP means support aggregation protocol, right? So it's a computer program that knows how to combine physical links in order to create one logical, right? But what you have to remember, this is a Cisco product, right? Cisco proprietary. So this program has been made by Cisco, right? And you have also to remember this, when you are using this PagP, this PagP will send, like switch number 1 will try to send some packet to switch number 2 for auto negotiations, right? So switch 1 will send packet at every 30 seconds to switch 2, right? So when you have like 2 switches, when you configure this PagP or port aggregation protocol, what's gonna happen? Switch number 1 will start sending the packet to switch number 2 for requesting what? For requesting the ether channel configurations, right? For requesting the configurations, right? But remember that all those 2 switches must have the same configurations. Both switches must have the same configurations, like in terms of speed, a duplex, VLANs informations, right? Now, what's gonna happen? So on switch 1, right? On switch 1, you can do what we call the auto negotiations, but that auto negotiation will happen like in 2 different ways, right? But before even moving forward, let's talk about a PagP mode. This PagP will come in different mode, right? The mode, right? So when you are configuring this PagP, you have to understand that there is a mode that's gonna come with, right? There is PagP, the variable, and there is PagP auto, right? So what does it mean, PagP desirable, right? This one will initiate. And this one respond or replies, right? So what does it mean? Logically, it means this. When you got 2 switches, right? From the first switch, you can configure the mode as desirable. From the second switch, you can configure the mode as auto. Let me draw it like for you. You got here switch 1, and you have here switch number 2, and you got your links here, right? So in order for you to create the virtual link dynamically, right? In order for you to create a virtual link or a port aggregation or ether channel, in order for you to combine those physical ports, to create one logical, you can do it dynamically, right? And dynamically, we do have two protocols, PagP and LagP. This PagP will have two modes, right? There is what we call desirable and auto. So one switch, like this one, right? So the mode here, you can keep it what? Desirable, right? This is the mode from the first switch, right? But when you go the second switch, the mode here, you must keep it what? Auto, right? This is the meaning. So you go to the first switch, you said, okay, switch number one, your mode is desirable. Means what? You are going to initiate, you are going to request the configurations from switch number two. You are going to ask switch number two if switch number two will accept you guys to form a virtual link. And switch number two, because it's automatic, switch number two will reply, will respond, right? So this is the meaning. And remember, guys, the configuration will still be the same, but what you're gonna do from here, right? So from here, you are going to say what? From switch number one, you're gonna say mode desirable, right? And from switch number two, mode, you are going to say what? Auto. This is the meaning. So let's try it first in practicals, all right? So switch number one, you're gonna keep it on desirable. Switch number two, you're gonna keep it on auto. Or you can also do this. Switch number one, you can keep it on auto, and switch number two, desirable, right? Because this one, switch number two, will initiate, and switch number one will respond, right? You can also do this, so it's gonna still work. You can also say desirable, desirable, so it's gonna still work. But you cannot say this auto. It will never work. You cannot create that virtual link, right? This one is forbidden. Don't do this. It's on board switches, right? Oh, it's coming with another color. So don't do this. Don't do this. Don't. Don't do this, because this one means what? You are replying. So this one also, you are replying, right? So there is no initiation, right? Okay, let's do it from the configuration side. You can go to packet at tracer. So I'm gonna drag and drop like 2 computers, and I'm gonna have like my 2 switches here. All right, and you can connect first Ethernet 0/1, first Ethernet 0/1. I like from here I can take from 0/2, from here I can take from 0/10, 0/3, from 0/11, right? So what we're gonna do, we go to this one, to this switch, right? So I can create a VLAN 10, right? I can exit. So I will assign this interface to VLAN 10. So interface first Ethernet 0/1. Oh, what have I done? 0/1, switch port. So mode access, switch port, no access, VLAN 10, right? You exit, right? Now I'm gonna create my virtual link or my channel port by using the dynamic one. So interface range, pass Ethernet from 0/2 up to 3, right? So channel group, so I can say 2. Mode, you can press the question mark, right? Question mark. You can see the mode that we want, right? So you can go for what? I can say we can take desirable because we want it to be done dynamically, right? Mode desirable, right? And we can make it like a trunk, a switch port, mode, trunk, right? And we are done. You can try to verify your configuration. Do show the ETHERCHANNEL summary. So you can see your 2 port, they are under group 2, right? But they are down. This D means they are down. They're still down because we never finished with switch number 2. So, and which protocol are you running? The PagP, port aggregation protocol, right? Now we can go to switch number 2. So I can create one VLAN, conf T, VLAN 10. I can exit my interface, the one from the computer, switch port, mode access, switch port, so access, VLAN 10, you exit. So interface range, remember that I took from 10 to 11, 0/10. Yes, our channel group. Remember that the number doesn't need to match. Mode, remember that the first one was desirable. The second ones I can keep what? Auto, right? Because desirable means, so I'm asking your configurations. So I'm requesting, so if we can form like the ETHERCHANNEL, and you are going to respond, the automatic, right? And I'm done. We can make it a trunk. Yeah. So we can check, do show the ETHERCHANNEL summary. So you can see those 2 ports, they are what? They are under? Where them? Yeah. They are under group 4, but they're still down. Let's see now if they're up again. Yeah, you can see the U means they're up, right? Because it takes few seconds, right? So sometimes when you want to understand which protocol my EtherChannel uses, you can just say show EtherChannel summary, right? But sometimes also when you want to learn something about your port, right? Your port channel, you can say do show port channel. You can precise that number, let's say 4, right? No, let's say my do show doesn't work. Do show interface. I can add. Okay, let me see if it's gonna port channel 4. Let's see. Okay, do show interface port channel 4. Yeah, so you can see that like it's up, right? And the LAN protocol is up. Just when you want to learn something about your virtual port, do show interface port channel 4, right? Yes. Now we are done. We can give some IPs to those 2 computers. Oh, my PC is slow. Okay, I can say 192.168.1.3. And this one, 192.168.1.4. So I can ping 192.168.1.3. Yeah, you can see there's a reply, right? Now, because we formed the EtherChannel link, what does it mean? So even if this cable is down, we can still access this computer, right? So this is how you have to create your EtherChannel or your port aggregation dynamic way, right? By using PagP, right? But you can also do it by using this LagP, right? This link aggregation protocol, right? We call it link aggregation. Aggregation protocol, right? This one is what? Multi-vendor. Multi-vendor, right? What does it mean? It means that this computer program, this protocol can be used in different switches, not only Cisco switches, right? Any type of switch can use this link aggregation protocol when it comes to virtual creation of links, right? So it's not Cisco only, but Cisco switches can use those 2 protocols. You can go for PagP or you can go for LagP. But LagP is not Cisco proprietary. You can run it in any type of switch, right? But the good things with this link aggregation protocol is this one will allow us to have some additional like 8 links on standby, right? Like 8 active links. What does it mean? When you go for LagP, you're gonna have beside your EtherChannel, you're gonna have another like 8 links like on standby. If one of the link fails, your link aggregation protocol will replace automatically, right? Will replace that link automatically, right? So when you go for LagP, what does it mean? You will have some additional 8 links on standby. If there's a problem, like in one of the link, this protocol will replace it automatically, right? And remember that this one also, this LagP will have also mode, right? There are different mode. There is what we call LagP active and LagP passive, right? So what does it mean? You're gonna do the same things like here, right? When you go for this protocol, means this, from the first switch, you can say it's active because you are requesting, you are initiating the communications. So from the second one, you're gonna say passive, right? You can also say it's passive, and here you can also say it's active, right? You can also say it's active, but you cannot say passive, waiting, or responding, no, right? You cannot go for this one. So the configuration is still the same, right? You only change, right? So active and passive for LagP, and desirable and automatic for PagP, right? Now, you can assign an IP address to your virtual link, the one that you created, or maybe your port aggregation, right? On layer 3 switch, right? So the command will be, right? Maybe it's like interface range, maybe this one, right? Maybe it's so channel group 3, maybe mode on, right? But you have to say this no switch port, and you assign the IP address, maybe, right? But remember that from layer 3, you have to enable what? IP routing, so in order for this device to get an IP address, right? But let's do it, right? So I'm gonna show you how to assign like an IP address to your virtual link, your logical link that you created. So you have to pick up what? A layer 3 switch, right? What we're gonna do, to enable, let me check first my configuration, show run. Yeah, I can see the interfaces, what I have. First, you have to enable IP routing, because you know, like, technically a switch cannot get an IP address. But this one is a layer 3, means that layer 3 can accommodate an IP address, but you have to tell it, you have to enable it by saying IP routing. IP routing means you're telling that switch you have to get an IP address. You can get an IP address, right? Now we can go for interface range, first Ethernet 0/1, maybe it's up to 5, right? So I want them maybe like to be in channel group 5, my mode on, like manually, right? Now, from here, you can also say what? So you can say no switch port, right? So I'm pressing tab because I don't want to waste time. So no SW tab, just to complete for me. No switch port, right? The first port, no switch port. Now we can try to assign an IP address, .1.1, 255, 255, 250.0. Why is it refusing? Yeah, interface range. What we can do here. No speed port. Comment. Yeah, reject it. Let's try first with the IP routing. I don't know why it doesn't import channel is. Interface range, I said, or port channel, which channel we choose? Yeah, port channel 5. Oh, interface, okay, let me say interface port channel 5, right? Because I want to assign to this interface, no switch port, right? Now I can say IP address 1.1, 255, 255, 255.0. Yes, right? So when you're gonna say do show run, let's see, oh, yeah. So you can say there, right? Yes, so I think we are done for today, but I will give you an exercise that you have to practice, guys. Right? My exercise for today will be very easy, right? So what you must do, right? You're gonna have like switch number 1. You have this switch number 2. This switch number 1 will have like a PC here. Here's another PC here. This one too will have a PC here. There's another PC here. And you're gonna have another switch here. This switch will have a saver here, like a DHCP here. And you're gonna have here some computers here. Yes. So guys, what you must do, you got like 3 switches, right? Make sure that the IPs will come from the DHCP server, right? So you are going to assign those 3 links to this one, and this one to this one, right? And remember, guys, you can also create the VLANs if you want, right? But do it the way you like, right? Maybe you can keep them in the same VLAN or in different VLANs, but it must work. Right? So this is the exercise for today. Thank you very much. For any question, don't hesitate to contact me.